time doing stand-up, so you're gonna have to bear with me a bit. And I really hate being nervous, you know, because there's nothing anyone else can do about it. You know, it's a problem. It's a very personal problem. Yet everyone wants to help you. So I've been getting all this fantastic advice from left and right. Like last week, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, "Have you thought about getting stoned before you go on stage?" Yeah. Right, so it's more likely that I forget my jokes, right? Yeah. Any more brilliant suggestions? No? Shut the fuck up, you stoner. Pass the joint. You've been hogging it for a fucking hour. I'm sure a few people in the audience are still like now thinking, well, okay, of course you shouldn't get high, but maybe if you had a beer or two to loosen up. While I've been too nervous to eat all fucking day, I'll come up here slurring like a Korean middle-aged man on a business trip. Suspicious stain on my pants, screaming at waitresses. No, but and then of course we come to the most classic advice of all, right? It's why don't you picture everyone naked, right? Fantastic idea. How am I going to make this situation more awkward? I'm standing in front of a whole room of people talking, or a whole room of nudists. All right. And besides the fact that it's awkward and embarrassing, it would be, well, frightfully distracting, don't you think? I mean, well, I was walking down the street and I was... Or even worse, yeah, I was walking down the street. So I skipped that idea. Not to mention the fact that I don't know how many times you've been the only one clothed in a room full of naked people, but I can tell you it is not a very comfortable situation to be in. In fact, it's probably more annoying than the opposite situation, because if you're naked in a room full of clothed people, you just gotta be like, well, yeah, I'm naked, deal. What are you gonna do about it unless you have a stash of clothes somewhere, in which case, why the fuck are you naked? So besides just being awkward, it raises a whole bunch of questions, because you know, you have to realize that in this situation, if I were clothed and I'm picturing everyone naked, then obviously, you know, I'd start thinking like, well, geez, am I being rude? Like, does everyone expect me to take my, I don't know, like, so then, of course, because I'm already nervous, I start building up in my head this other whole fucked up abstract fear that I'll come on stage, you know, I'll forget what I'm gonna say, I'll freeze up, and slowly start undressing so as not to be the odd one out, you know? I like talking about, well, I like making jokes about celebrities because I think it's hilarious how in our culture we've become so obsessed with celebrities, right? Like you're having a conversation and people will come up and bring up celebrities like sources, like they have something worthwhile to say because they're famous, right? Like I'm talking to a friend about global warming, and someone comes up and says, well, you know, Bill O'Reilly thinks that the science on global warming, that's just guesswork. And someone comes up and says, well, Sarah Palin thinks that the man-made climate crisis is just a hoax, and it's just a threat to the economy. I like to counter, well, yeah, Paris Hilton just thinks it's hot. Not all celebrities are idiots, obviously, you know, that's obvious. Like, for example, I was reading up the other day on Rick Allen, because I think it's a fantastic life story, really, you know. I don't know if you know Rick Allen. He's a drummer of Def Leppard, and in 1984 he lost an arm. He lost his left arm. He's a drummer and he lost his left arm, right? But by 1986, he was back in the band. He'd returned to the band, and they went on to make some truly decent music, including one particularly famous song about cocaine. It's not about sugar. And I was just thinking, like, well, you know, this is amazing. I want to learn more about this man. This is incredible. 2 years to come back and play drums with 3 limbs. That's fucking incredible. So I go to Wikipedia, obviously, you know, lazy man's source of all knowledge for everything ever. And I find that Rick Allen was listed number 7 out of in a poll, the 100 best drummers of all time. I thought, damn, you know, all power to him. How the fuck does number 8 feel? You know, he's a legend and all, but I have 4 limbs. Come on, man, come on. And yeah, on the internet, speaking about Wikipedia, I think it's really exciting the change that has come with the internet, right? Like for example, all the ads on the internet. It's fantastic. They're like shrinking women all over my web browser. You've seen this before, after. And but my favorite is actually one I saw recently. It was an ad that said, "How intelligent are you?" And it was a multiple choice question, right? And it says 74, 75. And I go, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, check the problem. It was a green 74 in a red circle. A color blindness test? How intelligent am I? Well, I'm intelligent enough to know you're trying to trick me, motherfuckers. But being an inquisitive person, of course, I had to find out what this was about. You know, I had to like, what do you mean? How intelligent am I? This is a color blindness test. What do you mean? So I clicked it on the correct answer, 74, of course. You know, I'm real intelligent. And it came up this blank page with some writing in Bulgarian, and I can't remember how to pronounce all of it, but you know. And I thought, what the fuck? So I went back and I checked, well, what if I put in the wrong answer? What if I pretend to be colorblind for this intelligence test? And the same page came up, and that's fucking weird. So I went back and I went in again, and it was the same website. So I figured, oh, well, I have to find out what it says. And I went to Google Translate, and that's when my computer crashed. Yeah. And as a point of interest, by the way, I'd like to point out that in 2007, globally, $300 billion were spent on arms production. Just throwing that out there. $1,400 billion were spent on defense. You know, keeping an army, developing new weapons, new ways of killing people, blah 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 blah. Right? Now, I've always been thinking, like, there's so much money, there's so much resources. Couldn't you do something better with that? Couldn't you feed and clothe the sick? You know? But then imagine, right? Like, imagine that UN meeting, right? Kofi Annan would be like. I'll stop there. That's all I had. I'm not really thinking that it will be.